Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Tea and Coffee with Paula and
Jay. Good morning, everybody. Trying to fix X, and we
Yeah.
got it just in time. Hope you're all good. The internet looks good. Everything looks good. And you look good.
Yes, well, merci beaucoup, monsieur.
I need Trump's hairstylist. My hair's not getting to the point where I need to try and fix it. It's got to coif over. And looking at the camera, which isn't mirrored, it just messes with your head. You're like, you can't find the right spot anymore. It's tough. So thank you for the mirror camera on your phone.
Yeah, you're welcome. But yes, hello from snowy Breton, Alberta, and I believe it's the same for a lot of Albertans out there. And but Manitoba is partially cloudy. So that's good to know. But yes, everyone, be safe. We got a boatload of snow starting from yesterday evening. Solar panels have already been done once, and after the show is done today, I will do it again. Yeah, winter's here, exactly. The temperatures are here as well.
So about time, I guess.
Yeah. But yeah, it's minus 16 or so outside. It's gonna be the minus teens to the minus 20s for the next few days. We may hit minus 30 tomorrow, but the general rule will be about minus teens to minus 20s.
So the generator's back inside.
It's warming up.
And we learned a lesson about having warranties. Use them.
Yes.
Use them.
Yeah. So we've got our main generator starter replaced, and it is a big job, not a small job. So we've got to call the warranty people to go so they can come out and swap it out for us.
Your confidence in me was nice and high. I appreciate that. And yeah, if it was just a bolt off, bolt on, would have been no problem.
Yeah.
The bolts are inside the compartment, so you got to take apart the whole one end of the generator just to get to 2 bolts to remove the starter and replace it. So nope, not a me job. When we start getting past that, I think the warranty labor is definitely needed, and let's make sure we don't cause more problems.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not like I have a history of breaking generators, right?
Know your limits, play within it, people.
Absolutely. No, because we have a warranty on it, let's use it.
Yes, I concur. That's what it's for. But yeah, good morning, everyone.
I hope you're all good. And there's going to be some news today, but what's the update here? Fix the diesel heater.
Yeah, yes, you did that. Right before we're off to breakfast yesterday for our family day, one of the diesel heaters decides to stop working. And it's like, okay, we'll address that shortly. Had a nice family day outing with the kids and their friends, and then we came back and you worked on that, got it done, and it's working away.
Yeah, it was making a sound that I recognize. Like, oh, it's having trouble. It's having trouble. And this one was just a little filter screen. So we're kind of getting pretty efficient at that now.
Yeah, well, this one I know. I hand over the tools when necessary, but otherwise, no, this is your job. But yes, you certainly boom, you got it done. Good job.
Get out.
Yeah. Boom. Yes.
No. Everything's good around here. Ready for the cold snap. You got the fire stove going again.
Yeah.
We'll alert tarps back up because some dogs like to pull things down. I'm blaming the dogs, not the cats, on that one.
Yeah, I'm going to blame our son for that one.
Really?
Yeah, I'm going to blame our son because he went running through the end. He was playing or something, and the next thing you know, I come around and it's down. So it's either he didn't notice, could be he's 11. Of course, he didn't notice. So it may have already been down, but I don't know. It's the child, the dog, the cat.
We agree it can't be the cats. That would be a lot of force.
Yeah, because the wood came down. So yeah, I would say.
Well, then he needs to be careful because that wood could bump him.
Yeah. I agree. Oh, and I have lots of thank yous. First of all, thank you to BT, my lovely Telelicious buddy, for my new mug, which comes with really cute little
thing in there,
little spoon. This is something else. So, and then the second thank you is for GB, who very generously sent me some Sun River honey. One of our viewers sent me some turmeric and ginger infused honey, as well as lovely little sample pots of lime honey, garlic and ginger infused honey. So I will be enjoying that as part of my witch's brew in the morning.
Does it have turmeric in it?
It does.
I can't smell it.
Good. But it's infused in the honey. So I still added my lemon juice. I added a touch of the black pepper in there. And but it's very, very tasty. So thank you, GB, for sending that. It's really thoughtful, incredible, and I really appreciate it. Kind of you.
Yeah, reached out and said, I'm sending something. I'm like, hey, cool, my birthday's coming up. How awesome is this? And it turns out it was for me. I don't have to smell this now. It's no problem. And I don't know if you're supposed to use a plastic thing or the wooden one, though. GB using a wooden one.
Yeah.
Real plastic.
Yes. No, this is glass.
It's glass?
Yeah, that's glass.
Oh, okay. Careful then.
Yes, I shall.
All right, let's go ahead and try and get into. Oh, we got lots of time here.
Yeah.
What else is on the go then? And what did you do yesterday? Where did we go?
Oh yeah, we went to the Breton Community Centre, who had a family day event. So there was the Elks who put on the pancake breakfast, which is delicious as usual. Thank you very much to them for their volunteering their time. And also, yeah, there was just some fun activities, face painting. We came home with a little tiger,
Mhm.
a little man that had his face painted. They waited for him and had his face painted. And the other one came back with some sort of balloon, which I think is still
Space
in the
gun.
car. They
It's
leave it.
done.
Yeah, it's done. But yeah, the kids had a good time. They got together with their friends and were hanging out. But yeah, it's a nice way to celebrate. Early part of the day, celebrating family day together, and then latter part of the day is some repairs around the house. The kids got to hang out with their friends' place as well for a few hours. But yeah, just same old, same old. But now the snow's here. Now winter is here. Now added to my list. I'm no longer dealing with horses, steers, and pigs and other critters. But now I'm dealing with snow, solar panels, and wood stove, diesel heaters,
And a husband.
and a husband, and a husband. Busy, busy, busy.
Yeah. And it was kind of cool yesterday. So we were starting to see a lot more familiar faces as we're
Yeah.
doing a lot more around the community. But a young man, we won't get into his name because I don't remember it all.
I do, don't worry. If he's watching,
Yeah.
thank you.
But 20-year-old came by to chat. Yeah. I asked if he can sit down and chat with us about independence and sovereignty and all of that stuff. He's from a family of 12. And one of the conversations we had was, as a young man, do you plan to have a large family? And the answer was absolutely yes. And well, this is why we want some independence, because young people can't afford anything now. They can't get the jobs they used to be able to. They can't get the homes. And certainly if you're going to have a large family, it's going to be a lot more difficult under the current regime. So yeah, he understands that, recognizes that. And I think some of his family wants to sign.
Yeah.
So we may make arrangements to get that done for them.
Yeah, no, it's good to meet those in the community, especially young people who are realizing that they have to start thinking about their future. Do they want to continue maintaining the lifestyle that they have, like, at home? And if so, how can they achieve it? And then what are the things that they can do? Because we even discussed about what we're running locally for the municipal boards and such. And it's like, yeah, these are things you need to be a part of in order to help make change or just maintain your environment and your community. So good. It was good to chat to the young folk about that.
Yeah, it's great to see young people get involved. Talk to him about his peers. He doesn't have a lot of peers around, but the common issue is affordability of the future. Can't really see the future currently in the state everything is, especially when you get some property, large chunk of land, and have a large family. It's going to be far more difficult under the current society that Canada is providing. So an Alberta that's independent is looking much, much better by the young people.
Yes, as it should. Glad they're seeing it, quite frankly. So,
All right, let's go ahead and jump into some of the news because there's a few things going on.
yes.
I think we need a new mouse. All right. Put that on the wish list. Okay, so yesterday was with John, Patriot Alberta, Alberta Patriot. Alberta. Or just let's click that. Alberta Patriot. There we go. Great conversation with him as we went through various things. And I think we have let's go quickly check our sound. I had an issue with it yesterday. No, we're good. Okay. Various conversations, especially about, I think the part that he enjoyed the most was the counter arguments, the reasons why some of the people are against independence. And what we can't come up with, and please, if you're watching or if you're online and you got the counter arguments of why Alberta should stay, please provide them. But what we talked about a lot was the counter arguments of the fear, the things they're concerned about. And then if those are addressed, would they move over to a yes vote? So we spoke quite a bit about that. I think John was very good at kind of interviewing us while we were interviewing him. He's got that knack, and I'm looking forward to crossing paths with him again soon, because he is doing very good work online. So if you want to follow him, give him a follow and check out that episode from yesterday. All right, so there's not a lot of news here because, well, I guess we can talk about what happened last night at the hockey arena in Rhode Island.
Yeah.
First thing happened was I saw the news early, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, there's another shooting in public." And the headlines were, "Man shoots wife and child." At that time, things changed a little bit later, but it was at that time like, "Oh man, that sucks." But I kind of turned to Paula and said, "Well, it doesn't look like this will be from the mental illness
Yes.
community at all, because it looked like you see this, a murder-suicide, a husband loses his mind, takes out part of his family, whatever." And then as more details come out, it's like, "Oh, there we go again." It turns out it was a mentally ill man, and the headlines started to change. It's not
Yeah.
wife, it's ex-wife.
Yeah.
And it's not kids, it's daughter, it's his children, but they're not kids, they're grown adults. One of his surviving daughters came out to the press and said, "It was my father. He's mentally ill. He killed my family." Well, she was still in shock.
Of course.
And as more of the details, I think one of them died in a hospital. Some of them coming out. But my challenge is, I don't want to give any of these people any attention, like the people. And all I'm seeing online right now at this stage, because the first 24 or 48 hours, it's always narrative agenda driven. And it is, again, doing that. I want to get more details about victims. I want to learn about them. But it was an ex-wife, not a wife. And right in the middle of a hockey game, he opened fire. There was a gentleman who grabbed him, tried to stop him, but he pulled out a second firearm and took his own life. Just so stupid. It's so tragic.
It is.
And just the day before, this person posted online a post about a trans person, and I don't even like use that term because it's not a thing. But the label trans person, and said if you don't leave them alone or us alone, we're going to go berserk or something along those lines. So obviously, there's some flags about mental illness and issues and potential violence, and this happened now.
Yeah, I saw a post online this morning that it says, one is, I wrote here, 1 is a tragedy, 2 is a fluke, 3 is a pattern, and after 4, it's just a crisis. So yeah,
there's several of them. So I'm not sure what the answers are going to be around this one, or this crisis, as you put it. The current administration here in Canada won't touch it, and that includes the opposition. And I think in the US, it may be something that they address a little bit, but I'm not sure how. I'm just not sure how.
Yeah.
So we're gonna keep an eye on this particular story as well. Let's not forget Tumbler Ridge. Maya seems to be starting to do well. Her left side, there's some movement. It's her right side, there's no movement. She isn't fully awake yet at all, but she's making some progress. So it's good news there. And then the young man who was shot in the chest, he's now leaving the hospital. Good news there. And we'll try and stay on top of that one as well.
Yeah, and Wolf completely agree. Repeal Bill C4. But not going to happen.
Not going to happen. No, they were unanimous about it. Pierre has never even come close to remotely touching that subject again. They're the uniparty. This is part of the Marxist takeover. With Canada having no visa requirements to China now. So doors are open. You understand.
And Donald Best and Jeff Evely are all over this on X with regards to waving that flag, so to speak, regarding highlighting how Pierre did agree to for C4, and we need to repeal it. But yeah, Donald Best and Jeff Evely, if you follow them online, they're always putting posts about that, including recently.
Yep, 100%. Give them both a follow. Jeff Evely has a daughter that had been mutilated by the government, so very close to him. And then Donald Best, of course, has been talking about Pierre's lack of opposition on the subject for quite a while, ever since I think he interviewed Lois Cardinal, the sterile Indian, who's a male that tried to gender reassign, did it against his will because he regretted it before it happened, woke up and totally regretted it, understood what it meant. You have an open wound, nobody wants you anymore, lost his significant other, and all that stuff, and looked to maids as a solution. So it's just horrible, absolutely horrible. All right, and part of this is what Corey Morgan's highlighting here. Scrap all DEI policies in all institutions. It's beyond time for true, simple radical equality, not bizarre, woke interpretations of equality that actually create racist policies. Absolutely. When you're race-based, anything is racist.
Yep.
And just because you're going against one race doesn't mean suddenly it's okay. We're all racist. My response here is, yep, the only way to truly be equal is to treat everyone as equals. No more special classes or two-tiered systems. So, yeah, this is where Alberta has the opportunity. Like we just said, you can't repeal C4, but Alberta can leave it. Alberta can leave it.
Yep.
Alberta does not need to be under the Canadian
Exactly.
Criminal Code. So if we can't get C4 repealed, one way is to leave it behind.
Yeah, it'll be another nation's problem. It won't be ours.
So those are some of the things we can kind of hopefully look forward to as we keep this fight going. So the violence against canvassers, even just verbal, is criminal code. It's against the law. And here's where the criminal code, the only criminal code we have right now, but this is in the criminal code. And so it's also in the Alberta Elections Act. So report threats to police, no exceptions. Consequences need to be followed through. And here's what the criminal code says. In Alberta, threatening elections, Alberta canvassers could violate section 264.1 of Canada's Criminal Code, uttering threats to cause bodily harm or property damage. A hybrid offense with penalties up to 5 years in prison if indicted, or 18 months on summary conviction. Also, additionally, Section 175 of the Alberta Elections Act prohibits using threats, force, or intimidation to influence or prevent voting, which may apply to petition processes with fines up to $10,000 or 6 months jail for offenses. You're not allowed to attack a canvasser in any way, shape, or form. Frankly, you're not allowed to attack people, but you certainly can't do it for those particular reasons. This was never a thing during the Forever Canada for any of the recall petitions. Petitions are a democratic process; they're legal, and the anger and now calls for violence, which have been seen for quite some time now, imposing violence now, which is what's going on here, and attacking. Now it's getting way out of hand. So I think the police need to make an example of some of these people and ensure that the public is safe and this process stays safe. It's ridiculous. And if you really think it's just a fringe 30%, why do you care?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
why do you care? If the petition happens, just vote no.
Yeah.
That's your recourse on this.
And there's a comment here in locals. Will the RCMP enforce that law, though?
We'll see.
Yeah.
I think they will. I think they will, because it's also against an Elections Alberta canvasser. These are certified and registered, and they represent Elections Alberta. This is why they can't be talking about any positions or like that. You got to be unbiased, you got to be nonpartisan, because you actually are representing Elections Alberta. You're wearing that canvassing badge. So quite possibly they should be very serious. Being throttled for sure on X on this one, without probably the word COVID in there. So X is not a free speech platform, folks. Well, I know a lot of you like to tote it as such. It's not. You get throttled and stuff for sure. But sudden and unexpected here was posting to remind everybody that the hospitals at the beginning of COVID, this pre-vax, were definitely filling up and people were dying. But as it turns out, it was due to the treatment they were receiving. So ventilators, remdesivir, and
I don't know. Yeah, midazolam.
Okay, sure, you're closer than I am. And they didn't make it. One of the things that came out later was having them on their back was a bad idea. Turning them over was a simple way to help recover. And as we now have seen years later, they're not doing this anymore. People get COVID all the time and absolutely live just fine, unvaxxed as well. If you're vaxxed, you get it a little bit more severe. You can catch it a lot easier. The data and studies have shown that now. But regular people without anything else in their system can absolutely heal from it. And I believe we got COVID in December 2019. Yeah. That was the one time in my entire life that I was knocked out on my back with something for a period of time, at least a week, and then recovered. And then it took you a while to get rid of your cough. Yeah,
to the point where my colleague at the time, like, hey, do you still have that cough? Because I'm up and about. I'm still, like, I'm back at work. I'm fine, but I just had this lingering cough.
Yep. up until
Yeah.
March, April of 2020.
Yeah, it lasted a while.
But yeah, so my post here, which is being throttled big time. Don't forget that many of the early COVID deaths were actually from the treatment. It took
Mhm.
months for the system to reverse course, and then many people started to survive COVID. I'm starting to wonder if maybe they did this to boost a C-19 shot narrative by convincing people the effects were minimized by the shot, when it was actually because they stopped killing people with the treatment. The world deserves inquiries, many of them. Let's learn from this. So my point here is they kept saying, "Oh, get the vax because at least your hospital stay will be lessened. The
Yeah.
effects will be less." And they were kind of pointing to less people dying in the hospital over this. Or did you stop killing people because of the treatment you were giving them?
Yeah.
Did you kind of just either figure it out, or was this all part of the plan too?
Yeah.
Because I remember even Elon's like, "Yeah, it's gonna make ventilators. We gotta do ventilators," and people 3D printing stuff and trying to
Yeah.
get ventilators into everybody, and that was killing people. Did
Yeah.
they know? Did they not know? That's what an inquiry would be for. And we need multiple inquiries, not just one.
Oh, for sure.
We need a bunch for a bunch of different stages of this,
My
an
goodness.
overall one, regional as well, like many countries should be doing them. Other than the NCI, I'm not sure if any at all,
If we
but not a coincidence. But yeah, it's part of the narrative, I think. Hey, get your shot because then you'll survive the hospital.
Mhm.
Or they stopped giving you all the stuff that was killing you and doing things that was not helpful. So Billboard Chris, who was on the show last week,
Mhm.
very articulate, well mannered, very calm. Had a conversation with these two ladies. It's about 6 minutes long to check it out. And they were basically asking, what are puberty blockers and aren't they reversible? And he takes them through the whole conversation, brings them some of the studies, talks to them very, very elegantly
Mhm.
and calmly. And even at one point, a gentleman walks by and says, "Thanks for everything you're doing." Like, "You're welcome." So he may have educated these two ladies in Vancouver, and that may help because you
Mhm.
educate somebody, and then they educate somebody, and then they educate somebody, and this gets out there. But I thought this was very beautiful because a
Yeah.
lot of the times what he says is children are being confused and they're being told that they don't belong in that body, and that itself is harming their
Yeah.
mental health.
Yeah.
And they need to be told that they're beautiful the way they are, not to just because you like to climb a tree as a girl doesn't mean suddenly you need to become a boy. And because you're an effeminate male or young boy doesn't mean you need to become a woman.
Yeah.
He highlighted that, in a lot of the cases, young people that are showing these traits just grow up to be gay, and there's no reason to
Or
be.
just grow up. There's that too,
I'm
yeah.
talking about what he's talking
Mhm.
about, not your opinion right here, because this is what he was talking about. Did you watch this?
No, I haven't watched it
Okay.
yet.
Because he says, in some cases they grow up to be gay, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Mhm.
Telling them that they need to chop off their body parts and stuff like that isn't the right course. Irreversible, not just puberty blockers, but the surgeries. There's that gentleman that walked by and thanked him for
Yeah.
his work. And do give it a shot. Do take a listen to it. I think it's very, very helpful to continue to learn how to have these conversations.
Yeah, I'll take that. I'll
And
pop it
yeah,
in the
sorry about
chat.
that, babe. But I was focused on what he was talking
Yeah,
about.
sure.
And I think it's beautiful. It's a fantastic way to educate and have conversations. And our guest is here, so we'll
Yeah.
get through the news. We got 6 more minutes here. So you grab your coffee or your witch's brew or whatever you drink in the morning. That's all welcome here. Stay Free Alberta
Mhm.
is looking for people to do call center work. To volunteer in a call center, they're going to provide you the software through a web page, and they'll train you on it. You can get certain gifts because they're now reaching out to people. So if you have some time during the week, you want to be trained on this, you got a computer, stable internet connection, there's a link inside of here to go ahead and post and ask, uh, basically volunteer for the position. And we're now at that stage. So the
Mhm.
first stage is to get all of the ones that can't wait to sign. And those are the ones that line up for a couple hours
Yep.
and they get out there and show up. And that phase is still happening. But thanks for the hard work of everybody, this has been happening all over Alberta multiple times. So the next stage is to reach out to the people that want the canvasser to come to them because of the number of threats, a whole number of threats. If you show up at my door, you better bring an army and stuff like that. Like you don't have to answer your door, and
Yeah.
you certainly cannot be promoting violence. But there's actual legitimate concerns happening now, So they want to go to the places where the people want them to come. There are people that can't get into a line, don't want to get into a line, or just want to be comfortable when they sign.
Yeah.
So the next phase is to come to them. So there's going to be a lot of outreach happening. And if you want to be a volunteer on the health center, there's a link. So thank you to State Free Alberta for doing the work you're doing.
And Dolores from Saskatchewan, who's not really from Saskatchewan, she's from
Or
Alberta. Yeah, she has been doing that. She's got to actually go to some of our other viewers because they haven't been able to make it out. So she's actually gone to them.
Woman.
So, yeah,
good woman. Dolores, it's a long drive from Saskatchewan, but thanks for your help. And now as we move on, so Rise of Alberta is mentioning they got 7,500 cameras. 7,500. That's an amazing number. That's already been registered as canvassers, and they're still doing hundreds a day. So if you do the math, at 134 signatures each, that'll be 1 million. What do you call that?
Mitch's million.
Get there. I think that this is going to happen. I've seen canvassers that have a couple thousand already. So if the average is 134, that's going to be 1 million. Keep up the good work, everybody that wants to become a canvasser and is becoming a canvasser. This means all over Alberta. It's going to be people that can find somebody they can sign with.
Yep.
And as the next stage is happening where they're going to everybody, I think it's going to be an amazing number. And there's about 70 days or so left. So, this is going to be, I do want to see them hit that million. That's going to send a big message.
I agree.
All right, we got 3 minutes left here. So Candace Malcolm has reposted Miller. Mark Miller. There we go. He says funding CBC needs to combat illegitimate media. So I'm not sure which holy book you read that one in, his Quran or his Bible. But both of them say we want truth tellers. So I'm not sure if he's reading between the lines on that one or just ignoring it altogether. But going against illegitimate media and using CBC for that's an oxymoron, isn't it?
Yeah.
But who he's talking about people like me and our guest today, who's also independent media. That's exactly who he's talking about because we're not filtered. We're not told what to say. We'll have to worry about the hand that feeds us. We just tell the truth. So he's talking about us. And also I say, as a common sense, able-bodied, unvaxxed, married, straight, white, male, father, Christian, conservative, sovereignist, journalist, I'm woke target number 1. Did I miss any in there?
No.
I was going to put tall, but I don't think they're going after the tall people just yet.
Oh, you and your tall privilege.
Yeah, there's no privilege. There is no privilege.
Oh, and speaking of when people were doing catch up for what we've been up to, someone said, how many days have you gone by without hitting your head?
Several.
Several. He's on a roll, folks. He's on a roll.
Now you just jinxed me. But so I'm definitely the type of person that they hate the most. And now they're coming after the journalist. So the journalist part of me.
Illegitimate.
Joe Rogan here made us all chuckle this morning. But Joe Rogan, little quote here from his stand-up. Before COVID, I would have told you that vaccines are the most important invention in human history. After COVID, I'm like, I don't think we went to the moon, and I think Michelle Obama has a male part.
It's a male part, yeah.
And my post here is, this is hard to argue against. My worldview has changed. Yours? I was always... Yeah, and there we go. We're online here at Critical Compass, and we are posting some more dates coming up all over Alberta and Ontario for the shot.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're gonna be in Drayton Valley. We picked the date, the 24th, right?
Yeah, I just got to actually set it up with them.
24th, Drayton Valley. Looks like 26th is going to be Whitecourt. 27th will be Grand Prairie, and we'll announce some more dates as well. All right, let's go ahead and bring in Mike with a mic. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning.
Morning. How's it going, guys?
Good. How are you doing?
Very good. Very good. Thanks for having me. This is earlier than I normally get up. You guys have already been at it for a time here.
No worries. Get you before the whole day starts. And that's right. It looks like you made Mark Miller's list. So now you want CBC to be more funded to come after people like you and I. What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, Mark Miller is one of the most contemptible people in Parliament, I think, honestly. He pretends to be a Christian too. Hey, you know that. He said that, no, this has nothing to do with the Christian faith or whatever. It's like, buddy, you're the worst Christian there is because you want to censor your own book.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he also didn't even swear on his own book. He swore on the Bible and the Quran when he entered office. And now he's like the Minister of Canadian Culture and other things.
Yeah, silliness. Yeah, I mean, there used to be a time when these guys were kind of subtle about what their aims were. You know, I don't even think they're pretending to be subtle anymore. You know, his you remember the other week his I can't remember exactly what he was being questioned on in the House, but was it him who was like his quote was like, "I'm not going to go through the particulars with you" or something like this. You know what I'm talking about?
I think he was being asked to define something, and that's what be pushed. And I want to say Rachel Thompson.
Yes.
She was asking him to define, like, what do you mean? And then he came out with this word salad, which meant absolutely nothing. And that's what she posted about, if my memory correct on that one.
Yeah, I think that's right. And so, I mean, they even have contempt for their own parliamentarians. So it's not. I'm not a fan.
No. And when he says they need to have funding for this, like $1.4 billion just to keep their lights on and their bonuses flowing, and now they want more money. And what does combat illegitimate media mean? Does that mean like shutting off her channel? Does that mean going, the Jason Levine show said this, and this is what we say about it? Or like, what does it even mean? Like, let's come up with some eye in the sky ideas. Like, where's he going with this? What does he think CBC needs to be doing to people like you and I?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like a perfect example of what I think he means is what I was just kind of reminded of the other day when I was watching some Olympic clips on my on X here, and somebody posted a clip of I think it was a Canadian athlete, but somebody commented underneath the clip and said, "For all the Americans here, can you guys please stop using CBC links for your clips because we can't see them." And like they can't view them without a VPN. And so I was reminded for a second. I was like, oh yeah, that's right. Like we can't share news links out of this country, and we can't share news links amongst each other even. Like this is stuff that we make fun of, communist China for doing, for being behind the Great Firewall, and we're doing it to ourselves, to our own citizens. It's like I don't know.
All by design.
That's what they want.
Yeah, and like you kind of said there, we can't share amongst ourselves, and as these commenters were highlighting, even external to Canada can't get it to us. So we absolutely have a news firewall here, and you and I can kind of get around it because we're not big enough to be registered or identified by Facebook as media. I think what they're doing is anybody that gets media funding from the government, those are the ones that they're protecting their links and stuff like that. And obviously we don't get those funding, so we're okay for now, but maybe that's what they mean. Maybe that they're going to ask the CBC to identify people that call themselves journalists, add them to a list so we get suppressed as well. Maybe that's where they're headed with that.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, anyone who thinks that you can have an independent media that's being funded by 7 figures of government money. I mean, I don't know how you can hold those two ideas in your head at the time. Like like you say, we're not being funded by anyone other than, maybe some YouTube revenue here and there and from some donations by our listeners. And that's extremely dangerous to them, right? Because it's not, we don't owe them any loyalty.
Well, here's the thing about what you just tried to do there. You said 8 figures and you went down to 7. 7 is $1 million. It's actually 10 figures for $1 billion.
For Christ's sake.
Yeah, 10 figures is $1 billion. That's not including the cents, zeros.
It's 730, Jason.
It's everything to the left of the decimal.
Yeah,
it's 10 figures that they're getting.
That's right.
A large number.
It's almost unfathomable, actually, when you think about it. And when you think about how little money we seem to have for anything else that would actually do any good in our societies, I mean, it's sort of a topic shift, but we've talked about on our show quite a bit how, like, honestly, whatever your opinion on immigration or any sort of international government, foreign aid to anything, you got to sit back and really think, like, the amount of money that we spend on things that aren't related in any way to maybe tackling the abject poverty that we have in this country. If we pretend to be an advanced first world country, we've got so much poverty and we've got so much drug abuse and so much mental health crisis, and like I don't know how you can earmark all this money without even a concern for how little is actually being funded that would actually help people, you know?
Yeah, and now you're starting to get into some great arguments for why Alberta is doing what they're doing. But as we kind of go down this road, we all think like, here we go. We have someone in the comments saying 1.6 billion. Add another zero to that, so 11 figures is what leaves us Alberta, and we get nothing for it.
Yeah.
You know, in equalization alone, 16 billion, 12 billion, 14 billion. It depends what numbers you're looking at, but it's 10 billion plus is leaving Alberta. Can you imagine what can happen with that money if it stays here with what you're talking about here? Abject poverty, security, safety. What can we do with that around here? And by the way, when you said the Olympic stuff online, there's only one thing I see on the Olympic online, and that is the Canadian finger pushing like everything, the hockey puck into the net and hitting the skates and knocking players over. Like, that's all I'm seeing in my feed as well, because basically Canada has turned into a joke by cheating in the Olympics. And this is, I think, 3 times now. Same sport, same issue.
Yeah, it's kind of embarrassing actually, because they both were so like I think Rachel Homan is the Canadian woman, and I can't Mark is it Mark something? The Canadian guy. They acted as if like we don't have cameras on them at all times, that they were so confident in their denial, but it's like, buddy, it's right there. We can all see it. And it would be different if like it's not even so I'm a bit of a curler. I don't know about you guys, but I like curling. I've never seen this issue come up before, and it's actually probably almost meaningless, because like it's a 42-pound piece of granite, right? So a little finger poke, right at the end of your throw is probably not really doing anything, but it's the spirit of it, right? You're not supposed to touch any part of the rock that isn't the handle at any time, and if you do, it's burned. It's not like you don't forfeit the match. You don't, it's not a serious thing, but the rock has to be taken out of play. And yeah, just the denial and like the immediate, 0 to 100 is swearing, and it's just very like, the Shakespearean quote of methinks the curler doth protest too much,
Too much. That's right. That's right. But yeah, but you're correct. And something again, people need to realize there are cameras everywhere. Like, just relating back to the convoy, for mainstream media saying, oh, there's hardly anyone here, or they're rioting. What? No, bouncy castles, barbecues, kumbaya singing, or like all that type of thing. Like, the cameras are there from every angle with audio. How could they think that it's not going to be seen? Like, let's just see the video replay, shall we? And then it'll be there, and then it can't be disputed anymore.
And what's weird about this is that's a form of gaslighting, right? Telling you that you didn't see what you saw. I don't believe your lying eyes is exactly the attitude. But I really don't blame the Canadian curling team for doing that, because this is what we do in Canada. This is what CBC does. You're allowed to deny in this big lie it until everybody believes it. And maybe they're still doing it just to kind of say, it's normal. We can keep doing it. You can't stop us. Maybe they're trying to gaslight people around this. My point on this one, though, was this was one of the last things that I was holding on to that said, hey, this is why you should be proud to be Canadian, is because of the Olympics. Yeah. If Alberta was separate, maybe would it be lower down on the Olympic medal list or something. But now they're doing this kind of thing. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm not even proud Canadian Olympic supporter anymore. I'm embarrassed. It's a big global embarrassment now. So there's nothing really left on my list of things that makes me say Canada is good. That was it. And honestly, I've been saying that for a couple of months.
Yeah.
The Canadian Olympic team would be the one thing we would lose that I think would be sad. But now even that is not on my list.
Well, even we were laughing at their outfits, their walkout outfits the other
sleeping
week.
Bag that wants to be a jacket. Yeah. Boy. So do you have anything on your list, Mike, that says we would lose this? And it's a positive thing. The list of negatives is pretty long. But do you have anything on your positive list of things we would lose as Canadians when we separate?
Yeah, my wife and I are big fans of Victoria. Or the last couple of times we've been, it's kind of gone downhill a little bit. It used to be insulated a little bit from the poverty and the drugs of the coastal mainland there of BC, but. I really like the coast of BC and Vancouver Island. Like that's very beautiful country, so that it's funny, we push back a lot, us Alberta sovereigntists, about like, no, we're not going to be landlocked because we're policy locked now, and we'll have, access to international ports through international law and things like this. But that is one sort of aspect of being somewhat geographically landlocked anyway, that I would miss is the coast. But we talk about this a lot too, that I would find it extremely I think it would be extremely unlikely for the Canadian government to take the passports of Albertan citizens if we voted and we actually did have a successful referendum and went through with forming a sovereign nation. At the very least, if you look to examples in the Balkans in recent history where they did, at least they nullified the passports of between certain nations. When they did that, they still allowed bilateral trade and travel between the areas, like free travel. So yeah, I don't know. I guess that's kind of what the first thing that comes to mind. But no, I don't know if there'd be much else. I just like the coast. I like the ocean, but I think we'd still be able to visit it.
For sure we would. Canada's beautiful. Canadians are beautiful. It's the Canadian government that I have my issues with. It's the Canadian government that's making things very divisive and difficult for a lot of people. I actually believe that we would have a fantastic relationship with Canada because, well, first we need to have a trade corridor. They would absolutely want a trade corridor between the West Coast and the East. We absolutely have a lot of products that we do trade. Oil through, I think it's Line 5 that goes through the U.S. back up into Ontario. And I don't see it becoming adversarial to the point where they start canceling and avoiding passports because Canada doesn't recognize, they'd have to pass a law. They don't recognize the removal of Canadian citizenship. So if you're already a Canadian, you would still be a Canadian. So I think it's going to be a lot of frustration as the process happens, but it's going to work out. It's going to be like a divorce where they still get together for the kids and they can still be civil and they're not actually attacking each other. I think it's going to be a lot more civil than people are giving it credit for at this stage. And northern BC, north of Victoria, the lower mainland, they are talking about the BC Prosperity Project. We have them on Friday. And who knows, maybe in the future, they do their own referendum, do their own thing, and we have some great agreements between us and them, and we end up getting to Prince Rupert and some other coastal areas. So give us some time. But I don't think your passport would be denied at the Alberta-BC border. I think they would absolutely welcome the Alberta dollar there because it's far stronger than the Canadian dollar. And when it comes to trade agreements, there's no way we're going to have an adversarial approach to this, either side, because we're neighbors. We still are neighbors. And part of the Albertan mentality and culture is we actually work well with our neighbors. Even if we don't necessarily like everything they do, we can still work great with them. So I don't anticipate there'll be a big problem. There'll be some people, individuals, even some senators and representatives and MPs that will be squawking, but I don't think overall the policy is going to be horrible. I don't think it'll be adversarial. What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, there's a lot of there is now, and there will be even more, a lot of big talk and a lot of barking from both sides. But yeah, I totally agree. I mean, it doesn't make like excuse me, if you look at what the eastern half of the country stands to lose if Alberta decided to be ignorant with them and close shipping lanes and highways or rail lines, and they have to drive around into the Northwest Territories to get goods to and from. I mean, it's just not feasible. It's not going to happen. So they actually, it's incumbent upon them to ensure a fruitful relationship with an independent Alberta. I'm curious what you said there. Do you believe that Alberta will move to have its own currency, or do you think it'll use USD, or do you think that USD is a stopgap maybe to creating our own currency?
Yes, I think it's just temporary. If we go to the USD, it'll be temporary because we need to get out of the fiat system. We need to get out of the central bank system. We need to get out of the path of the digital currency. And even the US is headed that way. Trump won't be there forever. He's going to have a successor. They may switch parties. Like they may elect someone different next time. I would not want to be tied to the US for much longer than we need to. We've got lots of resources that we can back it with: oil, gold, silver, undiscovered minerals. Once we start looking and prospecting some more, I think we'll be absolutely fine. And any country that does their own currency and has their own wealth sovereign fund, and they back it with oil and other resources, do quite well. So I would not like to see us connect to the US for long term, just short term, because that US or the Canadian dollar is going to go south very quickly when Alberta does separate. So
Right.
we need to decouple from the Canadian dollar. We need to get to something stable quickly to help us get through that position and that transition to our own currency. But I'd like to see an Alberta dollar. And I also think it's going to be one of the world's strongest currencies. So you're going to see other places around the world, especially if they trade in oil, start considering the Alberta dollar as one of their currencies that they might use for international trade. It's going to be a very stable currency. So I think it's going to be stronger than even the US at one point.
Yeah, that sounds great to me. I love the idea of being off of a fiat currency. That's for like you say, especially for a province like us, which is so resource rich in so many different ways, so many diversified ways. With I don't know what your thoughts are, and I don't know too much. So if you do know a lot, don't ask me any hard questions. But Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies and stuff, I know we have a big we have a lot of interest in that here, and a lot of plans for like server farms and things like this. There's a lot of I've heard a lot of talk about how because server farms for these cryptocurrencies need to be kept cool. There's plans to build some up north, so that could be a big part as well.
Yeah, so I'm not a crypto fan. Okay, so I'm a nerd. Very technical. I've read the source code. It's not built to last. It's actually built to collapse under its own weight. That public ledger thing, in order to do transactions, you got to have a bunch of, and they say it's decentralized, but it absolutely is not. It has been very centralized over just a few exchanges run it now. There's a few major farms that kind of run it. There's less than a dozen. So it's very centralized. It's actually more centralized than the world banking system, because at least the world banking system, each country has their own central bank. With digital currency and Bitcoin, there's only about a dozen that run it all. It used to be China, but now it's other regions. And if you take a closer critical look at this and you take off the, hey, we're getting away from government money hat for a second, this is built to fail. And it's built to transfer wealth very quickly within a week of trillions of dollars from everyday people to zero. And I still believe, because I'm doing the long-term thinking here on the digital currency, digital bank, central bank digital currency, they're going to collapse it so that people move to the government digital currency. And they say, well, we're going to be far more stable and more secure, and we're going to back it. Whereas Bitcoin is the backing of all the other digital currencies, by the way. Like if you're into the other ones, they all use Bitcoin to back them. So crash Bitcoin and you're done. The first million Bitcoins, who owns them? We don't even know. Who created Bitcoin? We don't really even know. And anytime that we have a government tied system when it comes to tech, like for example, the dark web and the Onion protocol and Bit browser and all that kind of stuff, I'm telling you, those are honeypots. Those are going to be the government who just lets you do that so they can catch all the bad guys. That's exactly what Bitcoin was developed for. It was to find the money launderers and the arms traders and the murder hirers and the drug traffickers. This was all a honeypot, in my opinion. And at some point, it's meant to, maybe when it hits the $10 trillion mark, to crash and destroy $10 trillion worth of wealth from people overnight. So I just stay away from it because I've read the source code. This thing isn't meant to survive its own size. It's going to crash. I don't know when, though. And I got out of Bitcoin a little while ago. We used to do mining and got out of Bitcoin a while ago. Sorry to throw that out there, but why is there so much trust in a system where nobody says they own it, nobody says they created it, a small group of people actually run it, and it's not decentralized at all. It's decentralized on the parts that you would want. For example, if you lost your digital wallet, you can't recover it. There's a guy that's still trying to dig up a dump in the UK or something for 7,500 Bitcoins. So he's still trying to find that damn hard drive. So there's no way to recover. If someone steals from you, where can you go? And then when the whole thing crashes, what are you going to do? So no, I just stay away from that one. Personally, I would like gold, silver, and some other tangible things. But digital one, it scares the Jesus out of me because I'm a tech guy and I can understand that it came out of nowhere. Nobody wants to claim it. There's 1 million Bitcoins that are just sitting in a wallet. And if those got released, that would really, really harm the value. And it would not take much. You just have a big hack, destroy the confidence in it, because that's the only thing it's backed by is confidence. Destroy the confidence in it, and then the ripple effect is all cryptos will die. I said the same thing about NFTs, non-fungible tokens. When that came out, I said, you guys, this is a scam.
No
like, you're quite
kidding.
literally paying hundreds of thousands, sometimes millions of dollars for digital, and you can't protect it, and this is a scam, and that collapsed too. So I expect Bitcoin to take down all cryptocurrency, and this is going to be by design. This is going to get us into digital currency, central bank digital currency, CBDCs or whatever. That's going to be the way they do it. Because they're going to say, hey, look, you had $10,000 with the digital currency. We're going to give you 1,000 of the new one. That's better than zero, isn't it? And then suddenly a whole bunch of people are going to move over to that and accept that. So I don't trust it. And I think the world's going to wake up at some point.
Well, you convinced me, Jason. I'm going to amend my previous statement. I've always said that we should only back our currency on natural resources and not crypto.
Yeah, no, something tangible, something real, because then it still has a value outside of currency. Like gold will always be used for manufacturing and for other things. So there's always going to be a value to it. But I wish I jumped on Bitcoin earlier, but I did read the code early, and I'm like, this is going to collapse. And then one of the first things that happened was you used to be able to use your laptop and participate in it. But now the blockchain is so large that your laptop can't support it. Now you need server farms to support it. There's the centralization. It's no longer decentralized. Anybody can just run it. It's too large. And also the consumption of electricity makes it unattainable for most people. Like, are you going to go set up a server farm just so you can say you're a node on it? Not a chance.
Yep.
So, yeah, I don't see this thing lasting past 2030. I think before 2030 is when they're going to push everybody over to central bank digital currency. And the best way to do that is after a crypto crash.
Yeah. 2030, that's the year, right? Lots of stuff's supposed to happen in 2030, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that's why I'm picking that number, because that's when they plan to have a whole bunch of shifts happen. So they what they're doing well is they're getting people comfortable with using digital currency. And then when it dies, this one, they're going to move you over to the government one. And I'm not saying it's going to be any better. Like, I don't like where that's going either. Social credit scores, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think the magic number might be 10 trillion. Once it reaches that, I think it's like it keeps dropping tremendously recently. They're going to crash it. And they being the people who created it. Like, people still don't even know who did that. I still think it was like a Department of Defense or along those lines that created it. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. I just don't trust it.
Generally a good rule of thumb for most things that are nebulous like that, that may or may not have government ties. Yeah.
Yeah. Could be DARPA as well. You know, they created the internet. They created Onion, the special, like, I don't even dabble in that. I won't install that stuff at all, because to me, that just screams honeypot. Go in there, get yourself in there.
Yeah.
Click the wrong link. Now the wrong image pops up, and then boom, you're in a lot of trouble. Just stay away from it. I had somebody reach out to me the other day, said, hey, I want to do a call with you. Can you connect with me on Signal? I'm like, man, I don't like Signal. I'd rather just phone you. They're like, no, I want to be secure. Like, well, dude, you're talking to the wrong guy, because if there's anything I'm going to say, it's going to be something I don't need to encrypt or hide.
Yeah.
The last thing I want to do is start getting into the shadows and stuff. And I've been that kind of journalist the entire time. I don't encrypt. I don't do that, because if I can't comfortably say it, I'm not. That's just simply how I'm not wired. I've seen way too many people have the stuff decrypted and their messages misinterpreted. I've seen the Coots trial up close. Like, no, you just say stuff that's in your heart, and if you can't say it publicly, don't say it at all. And that's part of my legal training. If you are not comfortable with whatever you produce, one day ending in front of a judge, then don't produce it. So don't write a text message that you don't want a judge to see one day. Don't say something you don't want a judge to listen to. I'm not saying everything will be, but that's my standard. If you can't say this in front of a judge, don't say it. Probably a bad idea.
Yeah, that's another good rule of thumb too. I'm curious. Do you guys use VPNs though?
Nope.
No, hey.
No VPNs. No, there was a time prior to being a journalist where I was more into that, especially when I wanted to get TV shows or something like that, and I don't want to get in trouble. But no, I totally dropped it, because if you need to VPN, by the way, VPN's another honeypot, because they can tell when you're using a VPN. And if you're using a VPN, you just put a flag on your data, like, hey, take a quick closer look at this stuff. Don't know. I quite literally don't do anything on my laptop, my phone, or anything that I would be afraid of a judge seeing someday in the future. Keeps us pretty boring, but I think it keeps me pretty comfortable. Yeah, boring is good, but I wouldn't have to defend anything.
Yeah.
And this is our business affairs as well. Like, we don't get into things where it's like, is that? Nope. Simply put, just keep it legit. Even if you don't agree with the law, stay on the right side of it.
Yeah.
That's probably a good way to think about it. And if you don't agree with the law, try and find ways to change the law. You don't just circumvent the law.
About 2 cents right there.
Kind of boring. And I'm sure there's a few people in our chat going, I like Bitcoin. Good. Just get out in time. That's all I gotta say. Just get out in time. Yeah.
Know when to fold them, as they say, right?
Right.
What's his name? Rogers?
Kenny Rogers?
Kenny Rogers. Yeah, probably wise information to keep in the back of your head. Okay, so let's jump in a bit more about you. After we just did this whole Bitcoin thing. Maybe I just triggered the whole crash of the market. Who knows? I haven't seen anything.
It's a cool thing to have on the resume.
Yeah, because it's all confidence based. So good luck with that, especially in a world where you can't trust many people at all. But you guys, okay, so I first met you, I think I was at the AGM, the UCP AGM, and you guys came in kind of out of nowhere. I'm sure you were doing things before then, but in my world, came out of nowhere, and you're like, hey, let's interview you. And I'm watching you guys work, and you guys are everywhere doing a bunch of stuff. And then what came out of it was top quality. This is something I think we absolutely need more of, is we need higher quality. Done are the days of sitting in your truck, screaming, yelling, and swearing in a camera to try and get your messages out. Now there's editing, then there's production, and there's well thought out and put together interviews and messages and communication. So bravo on that, because I think we absolutely need it to up our game. What got you and James interested in doing that, and how's it going for you over the last few months?
Well, thank you very much. Yeah, that's so we've been a thing since, I think, maybe the end of 2023 is when we really started just recording videos, and we started recording videos kind of on many topics. Like we're interested in a lot of stuff, geopolitics and pretty much anything. We've shifted focus probably in the last 6 months to a year here, I would say, to primarily issues of Alberta independence, because that's what we're interested in the most right now, and that's what our audience likes the most, so that's good. But you know what, we actually got, I came into the lobby here when you guys were talking about the convoy and COVID, and that's sort of what got us started to James, my co-host. We kind of kept each other sane a little bit throughout COVID, because we were like, and actually I've told the story a little bit, but a few times, but James actually like saved me from COVID. Like I was unfortunately fairly propagandized at the beginning. You know, I was I had a sick family member, and I was sort of paranoid about, you know, not wanting to transmit anything to them, and you know, I was all about, like, I hadn't lost faith yet in the medical establishment, and so I wasn't as willing to. I just basically got swept up in it a little bit, and James was the one who actually started. He asked me some questions on social media and about some things that I was thinking, and got me thinking, and sort of changed my mind on the whole thing. And that was right around the time that, just before the convoy happened. We watched the convoy live, like, every day. You know, we watched like Viva Fry and Autowalks and other guys who were live streaming, you know, basically from the beginning. And that was kind of the tipping. You know, they say, like, what radicalized you? Well, that radicalized me, because I got to see in real time what was actually happening versus what the news media was reporting about it. And that just sort of collapsed my entire worldview. I got so angry. We would have hours long calls and just kind of talking about how crazy the world was, and just sort of keeping each other sane after that. But like, are you seeing this? You know, am I crazy here? Am I the crazy one seeing this? And we decided to ultimately, like, you know what, let's start, you know, recording these conversations so that other people can also not feel crazy about what they're seeing with their own eyes. You know, that's how we're here today.
That's kind of our origin story too. It wasn't a radioactive spider that bit me. It was watching Viva Fry, Auto Walks, Travel 69, those guys walking around showing us what was going on. And that's what our world changed, because we moved to Alberta in 2021. So before that happened, and we had a whole plan. We sold everything in Ontario, and we sold it well because it was at the peak of the market there. And we're like, okay, great. Now we can continue to be mortgage free. That was one of the things that was important to us, is not to be tied to a mortgage. So let's go ahead and build a house on a property in Alberta. And Paula picked out the property sight unseen. We came out here and just started working on that. And then COVID, Convoy 2022, we were watching all of that from our trailer in the middle of the field, in the middle of Alberta, trying to stay warm. And we learned we got to do something. So we had a conversation. Because when we left Ontario, it was, oh, they're going to collapse the economy. There's going to be hyperinflation. A CERB is a really bad idea. Just handing out thousands of dollars to people that click a couple check boxes on a web page. This is going to be unaffordable. I remember waking Paul up in the middle of the night saying, I've done the math. We're screwed. Like, we're screwed. Like, what? Like, go away.
And the mentality in Ontario was be afraid, you know, children stay home, everyone be afraid. And I just wanted to get out of that.
Yeah. So we left and came here, and we were really just planning to kind of semi-retire. We had enough funds saved up to build ourselves a home and start to take care and homeschool our kids that way. But then the Convoy thing happened, and then we got to do something. And that led to, well, let's run for office. Let's get I really was naive, and I thought all you had to do was put your flag out there and you can get elected. It's not quite how that works.
Sweet Jason.
Bless him.
So we put everything behind it. It was first we were going to be politician, or I was going to step forward as that. And then it was, well, how do I reach everybody? Well, let's get messages out. Viva was leaving Montreal for Florida. There's a bit of a Law 2 vacuum that happened in Canada after he did that. So I stepped up and started covering the POEC. And then one thing led to another, to interviews and other things. But what also happened is we don't have a house now. Okay. We use all of those funds to go sit in a courtroom and watch the trials, and to travel to Ontario to watch the POEC and other things, and sustain ourselves with no income. So now we're at the position where we're like, okay, well, no house, but we've made ourselves comfortable for 5 winters now. And we're going to continue to do that because we think we have to, whether it's a calling or a selfish desire to make sure that our children are taken care of when we're no longer around, especially with a young boy with Down syndrome. We definitely want to make sure society and his life is covered, because he better outlive us. That's kind of the plan there. So that's what our motivation's been. Now it turned into something really, really different. I never thought I would be, targeted by the lefties, called a traitor, told that I need to be deported because I don't belong here in Canada. I'm not sure where they plan to deport me. My family came here in 1667. So pretty sure if you're going to deport me to my origins, I'm not moving. But I never thought it would be part of a big push in Alberta to fix the future for my kids. Because after the election, Mike, my trust in the federal system completely collapsed. April 28, 2025 is when it became very clear it's a two-party system. There's no room for any third party. That includes NDP. And there's no way to change that. And Canadians are not interested in voting an independent or another person in. In fact, the numbers dropped to the lowest levels like ever. So there was no way to fix the federal system. And that's when I said to Maxime Bernier and many others, thanks for the fun. It was good, but I'm checking out. And that's when I started to work hard, just like you, on bringing forward the conversations around Alberta independence and sovereignty. I'm a sovereignist. I'm proud to say that. I'm not a separatist, because I think a separatist is somebody that's just focused on separating. I'm focused on sovereignty, whatever that may look like. That may include separation, but I definitely want sovereignty for my neighbors and for Alberta. So I'm definitely a sovereignist and not a separatist, but that doesn't change the narrative out there.
Correct.
They're now calling for us to be locked up, charged for treason, and deported. And they're even trying to say that we have Canadian derangement syndrome. Like, these people are weird. Have you seen some of this lately?
Oh, lots of it. It's so silly. I mean, it's um yeah, I'm curious how much of it is organic and how much of it is very much paid for or at least, bought it or something. But it's yeah, I'm with you, man. Like that was a secondary, like, that I was already radicalized, quote unquote, but that re-radicalized me in April last year. I was like, you know what? When they announced two federal elections in a row where they announce where they call the election before the polls even close in Alberta, and it's like, come on, like, what are we supposed to do with this? It could not be more obvious that our voice in federal politics in Alberta doesn't matter. Um, yeah, I've lost all interest. I used to be a big Pierre fan. I thought he was great how he, stood up to Trudeau and basically made him look stupid on a number of occasions. And it was cool, but I don't know. I just have no faith in that system anymore. And I don't think that they're even in the maybe the most well-meaning federal conservatives. I don't think that they have truly the mandate to allow Alberta to gain any extra sovereignty than what we have right now. I mean, the attitude, like you mentioned, is so much different towards us than it is towards Quebec. Even in
Yeah.
the 80s and 90s, I grew up in the 90s and early 2000s, so I wasn't around for the original independence movement in Quebec, but I certainly recall during when I was a kid in the 90s and hearing about those crazy Quebec separatists. They're just so those Frenchies are so so weird. Those Quebecers are so different. But the conversation was never like, oh, they're traitors and they need to be forcibly constrained from exercising their democratic will. Like, none of that sort of talk. So some of that, I think, is a consequence of we have a very stratified political discourse nowadays. You're either far left or far right, and there's very little middle. There's very little nuance in the discussion, but there is definitely some really some vitriol out there for us, because I think if you were a smart federalist in Ontario or Quebec, you know how absolutely boned you are if Alberta does in fact leave Confederation.
Yeah, it's gonna be the domino effect for sure, and I can see the more angry they get, the more violent with their rhetoric, and then actual, jumping out of their truck and charging at canvassers now.
That was
The more of
crazy.
that happens, the more they're telling us and signaling us they're afraid that's gonna happen. If they really thought it was fringe and they keep bringing up like 30%. Troy Westwood, is it? The guy that
Mm,
did the interview with James? He really opened my eyes at how
yeah.
ignorant some people can truly be. Like, for him to say, "I don't think there should be a democratic process for you to be able to vote your way out."
Yeah.
Mhm.
Wow, I wasn't expecting that one, to be frank with
Yeah.
you. Like, I was
Yeah.
expecting a name calling and, "We won't let yous," but he took it a step further and said, "We should stop you by removing
Mhm.
the ability to do this." Like, wow, really? A democratic process, internationally recognized, countries been doing this all the time
Mhm.
throughout the history. They've been choosing when to break away from, another governing group. Happened the US did it to the monarch, okay? Like,
Yep.
I'm just surprised that that's even part of some people's thinking.
Well,
Um,
I think they don't think. They just think because it's what they want, but again, the whole reflection of, would you want it done to you? Of course not. Thing.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and,
It's
I think that was a great interview, by the way, so congrats for James, your buddy there on,
mhm.
the Critical Compass for doing that. I hope there's more of those, but you had to go to all the way to Manitoba to find somebody to chat about this. Do you
Yeah, I
plan to have
know.
some more of those?
Yeah, we hope so. I mean, we like that format. I actually, so we've done a couple things. We do most things together, me and James, but I've done a couple of these shows. Like I've done like Unscrew the News and stuff, and in the live chats, I'm a little bit more of the kind of the spicy takes guy, the off the cuff sort of ad lib,
Where's
sort of
crypto
talk.
going?
Oh yeah. And James is like, he's very cerebral and he's very like uh he's a planner. He's the one actually who when we release these short documentaries and we do these kind of uh higher time investment productions, he's the guy. That's his work, actually. That's his profession is videography. So he's kind of the mastermind behind that. But yeah, we hope to do more moderate more debates like that, because I just think he's perfect for it, because he's so level headed and able to kind of control an interaction like that. With Troy, that's that it's so funny that we've got this guy from from Winnipeg, telling us that we shouldn't be able to hold a democratic referendum in Alberta. But I said this on Twitter after it happened, because Marty was talking about it. Those guys have been going back and forth for months now. But I was commenting on Marty's sort of recap of it, and I said, I honestly think that Troy thinks that if they made it impossible to have a democratic referendum to secede, that would stop the intent or the desire for separation, when in reality all that it would actually do is make that desire and that plan of separation violent. If you remove the legal peaceful means of doing something, all that you leave is the violent means. And so actually I think the Clarity Act is a very, very wise piece of Canadian legislation, because it allows for that outlet through a peaceful democratic process, rather than, I mean, no one has any desire for an armed conflict here, honestly. So yeah, but I think that he thinks that. So it's a very like you said, Paul, like it's a very kind of surface level, like not a very deep thought,
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. And if he really wants to see the independence movement come to a screeching halt, we lose a referendum. So convince people why they should stay.
Yeah.
Convince people why Canada is good for you. Convince people why this could be fixed. They're not even trying that. They're using threats. We won't let you. It's the one that makes me laugh the most. Andrew Coité or whatever he is says that one a lot. We'll stop it. We won't let you. Good luck with that. And I think you're correct. If they went to remove the Clarity Act or revoke it, not only would Quebec get quite upset about it, but that would add a lot more people to the front line of the independence movement. Because look, they're now removing our ability to even have a say at that level. Because what a lot of people are out there saying is, this referendum is the first time in 120 years that Albertans actually have a say in their future. All the elections, like you said, they're called before it even gets here. So even if you're voting for the party that won, they didn't need your vote. So this is really the first time that Alberta itself, Albertans, will have a say in its future. And if they try and take that away, oh boy, I don't even want to go down that road. The crypto one sounds like a nice day when that collapses.
Yeah, no kidding.
It's horrible. That'd be the last nail in the coffin when it comes to trying to figure out how to work with Ottawa.
Yeah. And we say this all the time too. I think that even if you're a really firm leftist, if you're an Albertan who's a lifelong NDP voter, I still think that independence is better for you, because if you actually want your voice to matter in politics, you want to eliminate the influence from people 3,000 or more kilometers away from you. Like don't you want the power of your vote to matter a little bit more? I tell people, like, we've got friends and family that we actually James and I refer to ourselves as reformed leftists. We were actually quite, we're liberal musicians in the city for most of our lives, and it's only in the last probably 5 to 10 years or so that our opinions have shifted to the more libertarian mindset they are. But we look back to Alberta in 2015. We're not that far away from being an NDP province, while the country was just coming out of being a conservative country. So if you're a left winger in Alberta, you should be celebrating independence as well. You should be fighting for it too, so that your voice counts for more.
Yeah, it's kind of funny that New Democrats in the name, and if we had a republic, it would be Democrats. You don't even have to change the name of your party. And if you really want to have a say locally on your sovereignty, this is what you want. You want a republic for sure. It's kind of weird. Sometimes they don't think that way, but I don't think the people was really messed up. It's the party with the unions, with the media that's programming them that way. Yeah. I think most people understand what a democracy should be, and should have the voice of the people come forward, and they actually do support it. They're using things like the recall referendum to try and happen, right? Like they're trying to use the democratic process. They're not successful, but they're trying to use it. So just as we wrap up here, we move to our private side, because we're going to be very divisive, and we're going to move over just to our supporters in the moment here. and we're going to close the door and secede from the public stream here soon. What are your thoughts about the chances? You speak to a lot of people, and one thing that I like that you and James do is you do try to converse with all sides, not just an echo chamber. So what are your thoughts about the chances of, the petition? I think we're going to get that to be complete. But the referendum, to get a yes vote on that, what are your thoughts about that?
You know, we asked early on at an APP event, we asked Dennis Modry about this, what he thought realistically that the thoughts were and the chances are. And then he said, you know what, look to the referendum that we had in, I believe it was 21 or 22 for equalization, where it passed pretty convincingly. I think 63% of the vote. That was with no real, active campaign about it. That was just something that I think is a good baseline to think about what the average voting Albertan feels about their financial interaction with Ottawa. Now, I think with the campaign that we've been doing now over the last few months, and we've still got many months to go here, I actually like the odds. I think that what we're going to find, not only in the vocal supporters, which there is a lot of vocal support, and there's more and more by the day as people like you guys, we're trying to do it. There's lots of content creators out there that are doing a really good job about making this topic accessible and giving other people permission to talk about it in ways that they may not have had before. I'm much more open talking about my feelings about Alberta independence, in my workplace, amongst my friends and family. They all know my position on it, where maybe a few months ago I would have been a little bit softer about it, tried to lead people in with, more coded language and not be too forward with it. I don't feel that way anymore, because I think implicitly the conversation is more permissive now surrounding this issue. But I think what we're going to find as well is a similar phenomenon that happened in 2016 in the US with the Trump election, where people wrote him off right away, because it was such a taboo, like, what a ridiculous notion that somebody like this could get elected president. But under the surface, simmering amongst a significant portion of the population, there was discontent with the way that the system is, with what the federal government's assumption about what the average voter should feel. I think people kind of resent that. And even people who may not be public about it, may not be talking about it, I think there is something simmering under the in the subconscious of the average Albertan that I think, short answer long, I think we actually have a really good shot. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Silent majority. I agree. There are some people, like with the Trump, are not going to say what direction they want to go in, or will just go along with whatever their group with. But underneath, yes, they're like, no, I'm enough of this. Like, it needs to change, and why not give it a go?
And I think you're correct. That 63% that said no more equalization. Now maybe they realize the only way to get that is sovereignty. That is one way to end equalization. I think there's going to be two groups that are going to surprise a lot of people after the referendum and the numbers start to come out. And that's going to be First Nations, Indigenous people are going to vote for it. Maybe not the Chiefs. So there might be a dozen votes against it, but the rest of the people are going to want self-determination and prosperity as well, to be treated equal. And I think you're going to see the inner city vote is going to surprise a lot of people, because they're not talking about supporting a party. You're not talking about splitting the vote. You're not talking about forcing people into a vote because you want to stop the other guy. This is a genuine choice between the two. And I think people are going to be very surprised at what the inner city and city vote turns out to be. It may not be over 50% there, but it's going to be very high. And with the rural vote, I think we're going to get into the 60s overall.
And the youth vote.
But I think First Nation is going to surprise a lot of people. And that's going to have a cascade effect in the rest of Canada, because maybe their voices are not being heard correctly today. I think that's a true statement. And then the cities, I think there's going to be a lot more support than people give them credit for at this stage.
Yeah. And there's a youth vote that is crazy right now that people aren't. Gen Z is way more conservative than millennials. Like, I'm part of the millennial. James and I are millennials, like right smack dab in the middle. Millennials, we're in our mid 30s. But the gen, like 25 and younger right now, like the 18 to 25 demographic, people don't understand how conservative they are, because they are like, part of it is sort of rebelling against their like boomer and Gen X parents that are kind of overtly, you know, elbows up, and that's part of that is a response to that. But honestly, you see an increase in religiosity in the youth right now, an increase in conservative values that like seemingly has come out of nowhere. And I try to talk to young people wherever I interact with them, even, you know, in my work, or I was getting my I was at the barber too long ago now, but last time with I had a really young, like 19, 20-year-old barber, and I was talking to him about this, about Alberta independence, and he was like, yeah, I don't know too much about it, but I voted conservative in the last election just because I didn't want to pay any more. I wanted to pay fewer taxes. And I was like, yeah, your attitude is right. Like these kids have a kind of an instinct about this that maybe my generation didn't have when we were young, and liberals in the city, like I say. So hopefully the youth vote shows out too. I have a good feeling about that.
Yeah, me too. And that's what we kind of saw yesterday. A young gentleman, 20 years old, came to one of our conversations with Kathy Flett and Dr. Hodgkinson. And he said, can I join you and chat with you guys some more? And he goes, yeah, okay. Well, I saw Mr. Levine here, so I wanted to come in. Like, don't call me Mr. It's Jason. That's cool. It's really good to see the optimism in his eyes. And what he's planning out is, I want to have a large family. He comes from a family of 12 siblings, or 11 siblings plus himself. Like, I want a large family, and I don't see that working right now unless something changes here. So, yeah, they're starting to think about their future too, and thank God for that, for sure. Hang on. So, yeah, we'll be with you in 1 second. You're going to see us play a little thing, and then we'll bring you right back, because we're going to now separate from the public stream, okay?
See you.
Be right back with you. That's fun. I love talking to other people who are getting out to their working hard and speaking to other people. This is one of the beauties of having people like Mike on, is he does speak to a lot more people out there, and he's genuinely concerned about trying to get the full picture. And I really like that work that they're doing at the Critical Compass.
Yeah, and I just love the fact there's another voice out there getting the facts and information out there so people can make those informed decisions.
But did you notice the question of, is there any good arguments to stay? We're still falling short.
There's
We're falling short on that one. And now the Olympic argument is falling down one little finger push at a time. How embarrassing. Yeah, it's not working out great for us. Now we got to do a meme of him pushing the separate button.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Or you know how that little meme where there's the two options, they're stay in Canada, leave Canada, and then his little finger slides in and pushes leave Canada. Somebody's got to be working on that by the time we're done here.
Okay, and you can go ahead and like, subscribe, share out, please, if you like this conversation. We greatly appreciate it. And then you can go ahead and become a supporter and join us for the second part of the conversation with Mike. I'd love to see you there.
Thank you all very much for being here. It is kind of chilly, but we'll get through this. We're Albertans.
Yeah, right. And for those, today is Shrove Tuesday, also known as Pancake Day, or this side of the pond, Crepe Day. Yeah, that's why our son wanted pancakes today.
He wants crepes.
Yes, pancakes.
Yeah, pancakes yesterday.
But yes, everyone have a fantastic Shrove Tuesday, and see you tomorrow.
Yeah, and the Levine household today is farmland or homestead snow day. No press. All right, everybody, take care of each other. Love you all very much, and God bless.